The Islamic crisis. These things happen and they will continue to happen, and that's just the price we pay. These words were said by Hassan Minhaj, who is a Muslim Indian American who came to fame for using humor to explain the prejudices and privileges of being a first generation Muslim American in the United States. Muslims face prejudice in many different ways, those being heightened fear post 9/11, the USRAP decrease, and fear for personal safety while wearing traditional clothing. Post 9/11, Islamophobia became the norm of the United States. They claim to have recovered 4 passports belonging to those of Ziad Jarrah, Saeed al-Ghadi, Satam al-Sakum, and Aziz al-Omari. Months following the attack, anyone with similar sounding names was detained by the TSA and treated with more precaution than most any other minority group. Carry whose. Another step taken was the Patriot Act, which gave the government broad power to search private records and detain suspects with the name in fighting terror. This led to the increase of arrests in Islamic communities and assaults against Muslims. Kush Kayu. This allowed NYPD to secretly survey mosques around the tri-state area, the tri-state region, and later FBI officials carried out a series of voluntary interviews targeting Arab and Muslim Americans. Fruman. Islam was lumped together with the number of refugees from Muslim countries has seen a significant decline than any other ethnic group. The number has dropped from nearly 1,800 to from the 22,900 that were admitted last year. Each year, 1% of the 63 million refugees are given the opportunity to restart their lives in a new country. The reduction in Muslim refugee admissions is part of an overall slowdown in admission. Connor Phillips. Only about 20,000 to 21,000 people were let in after 9/11. Muslims fear for personal safety while wearing traditional clothing was treated very different post 9/11. Before, they were met with intrigue. And Muslim fear for personal safety because of wearing traditional clothing and their religious practices. Before 9/11, Muslims experienced a very different treatment. There was a sense of intrigue post 9/11. Americans in anguish tried to understand how someone could carry out such a heinous act and attack, and they found their scapegoat, Muslims. Arabs and anyone who looked like the terrorists who hijacked the 4 U.S. airliners. Generally speaking, Islamophobia has come to mean a hatred of anything related to Islam and or Muslims. I think as Americans, we categorize our lives as post 9/11 and pre 9/11 because of the personal and professional capacity of the attack. Zainab Chaudhry. Muslim Americans went from being the least targeted religious group in the U.S. to seeing hate crimes rise almost 1,600%. The FBI report stated in 2002, assault is not the only hate crime carried out against Muslim Americans. The number one is intimidation. My dad's from a generation like a lot of immigrants where he feels like if you come to this country, you pay the American dream tax. Like if you're going to endure some racism, and if it doesn't cost you your life, well, hey, pay it. Uncle Sam, I actually have the audacity. I was born here, so I actually have the audacity of equality. Muslims face discrimination in many different ways, being heightened fear post 9/11, the USRAP decrease, and fear for personal safety while wearing traditional clothing. There we go.